Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. Today on Glenny we will be building a fish market. I've done a lot of research on fish markets. I found a lot of items in the game. I've downloaded so many amazing custom designs that I'm really excited to share with you today. Let's check it out. Over here, I have some items that I've collected for today's build. Quite a few, all scattered around over here. But this is the area that we are working with. Everywhere from right over here down to my incredibly small dock, down along this entire strip of beach, until about here. This whole area I want to be a very nice fish market, a little bit of a sushi restaurant. We'll probably have to look up more codes as we go along. Hello, Zell. So we'll probably end the fish market around here, have a little sitting area where people can eat, or maybe even just leave it mostly blank with just flower stems and things. Okay, let's get into it. I am going to just get into build mode, and I'll see you in the voiceover. Enjoy! So here I am, just picking everything up and starting with the custom designs. So I choose this plank that has a piece that you can overlay on either side of one tile, and I'm not sure how I feel about it because it creates some blank space on either side, but I do need a plank for this island, so whether this is the plank that I stick with or I end up going with something a little bit darker, something that maybe has a diagonal piece so you can do kind of a corner turn with the plank, I think that would be cool. I did use quite a lot of pathing on this beach. Sometimes it can be hard to work with the beaches because it feels like a very blank slate. So for me, putting a lot of pathing down really helps ground my whole design and feel like I'm not just working with blank sand. Also, Zell was being incredibly adorable up in the top there, just having a really long nap under a tree. So cute. I will have all of the custom designs that I'm using listed below. I also have a link to my Pinterest, which has the inspiration for this build, as well as a lot of these custom patterns that I'm using. I find Pinterest is a great resource, as I've said before, for finding custom designs. It's not the best. Sometimes I do have to go to Twitter and Instagram to find even more, but I always try to pin them back on Pinterest. So this design for this fish market with the stalls in the front, and as you'll see, I add the ironwood furniture in the back in the old customization, and I got this inspiration from Mia Crossing on YouTube, and I'll share her video down below. I watched that as I was getting ready for this build and was just really inspired. She has the reverse of what I have, where her dock is on the other side of her island. So she was doing this in kind of that other corner of her island. She does a lot of different things for me. I definitely put my own twist on it. But the layout in general of this central fish market area was pulled from her. So I want to give her all the credit for that brilliant idea. And I think it looks so cute. Here I try to customize the outdoor bench with some fish designs on it, but it doesn't really quite work. I do end up customizing some cushions with that packaged fish design, and I think they turned out really cute. But here I go putting the ironwood furniture in the back to create this kitchen area in the back where people can prepare the fish. Maybe they're cleaning them up to package them in fillets or whatever, but it's just a little working kitchen where they can do all of that, weigh them out with that little scale, which I think is adorable. Throughout, I kind of tried to use where I could items that had blue and yellow. I just think that's a really strong color combination, and it kind of does remind me of more of a store feeling or a public kind of space with the orange, not orange, with the yellow and blue. I also use a lot of newspaper around in this build, on the ground and also on a sign a little bit later, and I feel everybody should have a newspaper design. Maybe that's just me, but I just recently added the newspaper design and I'm already using it all over my island, which is pretty neat. I didn't think it would be such a versatile design, but it really is good for more of kind of gritty areas like this, using it as kind of a flooring option, and then also as a newspaper stand. And the scattered papers really does well with that customization as well. This is the first time that I'm using jail bars on my island. Until recently, I did not have the DIY for jail bars. I am so excited that I can use jail bars on my island now, because especially this rusted customization is so cute, and it just adds another level of height to the build here and kind of gives that taller in the middle feeling, if that makes sense. So some of these compositional things I find really interesting, but having different layers of height is super cool. And now that I have the jail bars item, I can actually create that height, create this false wall in the back, which I think turned out really good. It wouldn't be a fish market or any kind of water related build without the standard puddle. I love that custom code. It's very popular. And now that we have more custom design slots, I might get the larger puddle that takes up like 4 design slots, but we will see. And now I'm going into the custom design portal again. I noticed that I only had the stall version of the pattern that I was looking for, and I actually wanted the one that was a ground version. So I'm just showcasing another creator. That was the one that actually had the fish design, but here is another creator that actually created this bright patterned mat, which is really beautiful. I also considered getting that cardboard pattern, but they have tons of great stuff. Both of those creators, highly recommend. But please tell me I'm not the only person who favorites almost every creator that you find on the custom designs portal and then has 1,000 that they have to go through every single time they need to find one specific one. I'm really trying to get better at saving them to Pinterest and then only favoriting the ones that I'm returning to again and again and again. And I couldn't not customize the cutting board, of course. So I use that same pattern that I'm using on the ground on the cutting board, and I feel like the little napkin looks so cute. I do end up downloading a different design to go on this plain wooden shop sign. However, I forget to include it for this build, and so I will be going in and adding the design later, but I'll showcase the creator shortly here. I just recently got the DIY for the wooden stool and I'm obsessed. It is so cute, and all the customizations that you can do with the wooden stool make it incredibly versatile. So I've been really enjoying using the wooden stool. Here I am creating a little bit of a garbage area to the left-hand side of the kitchen, and I really like the way that it turned out as well. I end up moving these items around quite a bit. I also used the pear box I love all of the fruit boxes. They're super cute and very versatile. They mean that the cardboard boxes are not just all looking the same, so that's really cool. I have left in a lot of the struggle that I had with placing down items. I do tend to move things from one place in the build to another place and decide that I don't like them there anyways and move them back. And often I will run to the front of the build to see how things are organized. I tried to cut out a lot of my running back and forth. However, I do it quite often. Go to the front, check it out, how it's looking compositionally, and then continue on. This area to the right of the fish market is bordering up against an area that I've had on my island for a really long time and don't really want to get rid of. So I end up struggling quite a bit with this side and going pretty natural with this side. I might go back and change it and add a little sitting area in between those two, or maybe a little campfire kind of spot. But we'll see in the future how I end up dealing with that. I love these toy bugs. I end up putting them and moving them around quite a bit, but they add just another little level of detail. And these simple panels that I've customized with kind of a rusted metal look are just background decorative elements. I feel if there's anything that I can like give advice, not that I'm an expert, but adding layers of detail that you're not necessarily going to see or be a focus is really cool. So adding something in the background that not everybody is going to notice, but is just there for that added level of detail. Custom designs, of course, on the ground can do that, but also custom designs on simple panels can do that. For instance, how I added the simple panels behind the jail bars. You're not really going to see those simple panels very much, but the fact that they're behind just adds a layer of depth to the whole design. And I'm super happy with the way that my dock turned out. Very simple. I end up putting a toolbox there opened, but my dock is pretty small, so there's not a whole lot you can really do with it, and I just tried to keep it pretty simple. And I love this little refueling station for any boats that are coming by. I really wanted to use this gas pump from the beginning. When I got the item, I just thought I need to use that somewhere, but there are no cars on the island, so it's a little bit strange that we have a gas pump at all. However, I have seen some adorable gas stations with the race car bed, throwback race car bed. It's really cute. I tried my best to use that diner table and it would not work with me. I noticed that the fish drying rack that I'm using was the same customization as that one that I'm using beside the market, so I had to make them different just so that just a little bit of variety. And the anchor, I love the placement of this anchor half into the water. It's actually very cool that you can place items right into the shoreline like that, and I really enjoy when I can think to place items that close to the edge. It's really cool. Now, this area is like one of those times that I was talking about where you're adding detail behind that not everybody's going to see. It's just that extra touch. I end up removing it eventually because it does make it a little bit difficult to walk back there. And I was noticing as I was filming this some item lag, and I don't know if it was just my capture card or if it was item lag from how many items I had, but I do end up removing that imperial dresser from behind and just keeping it simple through the back because you don't even really see those items very much, so just keep it simple a little bit. And I'm just planting some coconut trees, which are adding a lot of height. When they're all grown in, it looks beautiful, and so I'm just planning out the more natural element. I end up removing some of these coconut trees and moving them around a little bit as well. Here are my little fish cushions. They're so funny. I don't even know how I feel about them really because they're a little bit hard to see that they're fish packaged in there, but I think they turned out really cute. And I'm heading back into the custom design portal. This is where I'm finding that cute sign. Look how cute that sign is for a fish market. Definitely look up that creator. They don't have a whole lot of designs, but they're really top notch, the designs that they do have. So that sign that was on the right, I will go back and add in that custom design. I only actually noticed that I forgot to put it in after when I was editing this video. And now I'm just filling out the space a little bit with some custom designs, using more of the same that I did on the other side, just to ground the area a little bit. And this little part, I don't know why, is one of my favorite parts of the whole build. I pushed this outdoor bench back and then I realized that there's actually a half space that it could be pushed back behind the ironwood set. And that is chef's kiss for me. Right there, it's those little details. And I know we can't place items diagonally, which would be really a game changer, but just being able to place them on a half tile is huge because you can create a lot of depth, and I really do enjoy placing things at odd angles just to give it that extra little flair. It really can be a struggle to place down items that you can't move after you place them down. Items that you're walking over top of, like the centipede and the toy bugs and the document stack and the leaf pile, that kind of thing. You have to get it right on the first try. This utility sink, I swear, it haunted me this whole build. I tried to place it in a million different places and it never worked. So I ended up just not using it in the final build at all. But that's definitely a cool item for a fish market build, as a utility sink, and a lot of people use them. I just couldn't find a way to incorporate it into my build. I moved the bucket off the dock and next to the anchor, which I think is cute. And of course, you know, we always need another fish drying rack, so here's another one. So that's 3 fish drying racks for this fish market, but it makes sense. We're getting to my favorite area of the build now, where I create a game area for the employees of the fish market. The people who are working at the fish market need a little space where they can kick back. So I make a couple of stools and customize them with that same blue stripe pattern. I just love this pattern. It's so cute and colorful, but also not really in your face, and this bright pattern here as well. I really enjoy the combination between the stools and this pattern that I'm using on the ground. I struggle quite a bit with the placement of these floor tiles with the go board and how to center all these elements, but we do get there. Eventually I end up moving the whole thing back a few times. I'll save you the pain of watching me do that. There it is. And again, I try to use this diner mini table. However, I am really happy with the portable radio. In the end, I end up using the cassette player, the red cassette player, but I think I might go back in and actually change it back to the radio. The only thing that I find annoying about the radio is the fact that you can't pick the song that it's playing. However, I mean, sometimes that's kind of nice too, because it's just playing something random and kind of feels nice. You can also turn them off, so. I don't know why the cardboard box actually flew up on top of that stool. That was a really funny move. And we're getting pretty close to the end here of the build, so I'm just adding, again, some more natural elements, some coconut trees, deciding that one's not going to be very good there, and wrapping up the path so that it's cohesive here, adding a couple more details of pathing, and then I'll be placing a lot of weeds. And also I have tulip stems. I would prefer cosmos stems because they look a little bit like seaweed, which is another item that I neglected to include in this fish market, but I definitely need to get some seaweed and place that at random areas as well, because that is such a cute item, especially if you put it on top of a puddle. That is really nice. So unfortunately I did have only tulip stems, but they still have the same effect of just some different greenery. And the plant stems are nice because they won't grow on the beach. All of the weeds, they will actually grow and multiply, so I'm gonna have to see if I actually enjoy having those weeds around my island. I tend not to decorate with weeds because they do get a little out of control and it's hard to curate them. So as you saw, I tried to use the floor seat instead, because when you sit on the stools, you can't actually play with the go board properly, but I just love how the stools look with that blue pattern. And I'm just taking a final look around the build to see if there's any little finishing touches that I can polish off before I time travel forward to see what the trees will look like all grown in. Overall, I am really happy with how it turned out. It makes me feel excited for other parts of my island and for other themes that I plan on doing in the future. Not that this is any indication of the kind of theme that I want to do, but it's just really fun to do the builds in one fell swoop. I'm used to, with other parts of my island, chipping away at it bit by bit, and even with the post office, creating it from scratch and then going back and tearing it down and building it again. That's totally different from just having an idea in your head, gathering all of the items and trying to build it in one sitting. I highly recommend to anybody who hasn't done that before, because it's very satisfying to see it come together like that so quickly. So you walk down between two palm trees. I ended up removing a palm tree here and some weeds just to make it feel a little bit more open. And you can come across the front. You have a little seating area and all of the fish here for your perusal. Some are already in wrapping for you. Different kinds of seafood here. And I made this area a little bit more open just because I like having some breathing room space where you can kind of just have a bunch of different items around. I like how on the left you can see into the back area of where people would be working on the seafood preparation, maybe making a little bit of a to-go meal for somebody. I ended up not including a more formalized restaurant area. I know I had said on this side that I was kind of planning on doing a restaurant, but I ended up not doing that. So if you do come up here, you can walk through the back of house, so to speak. So we have some more fish and just a decorative goldfish up there. We have a scale so we can weigh the fish, can butcher them up, and clean up in the back here, this little food prep area. And then just a little garbage spot. I have a freezer here and also the cooler, but I think the metal freezer, the silver freezer, really does a great job giving that kitchen feel to this back area without giving a whole lot of height. And yeah, once you come over to this side, you have a little fishing dock, a very little fishing dock. My dock is super small, so in the future, I might add a little bit of a stool here so you can sit and fish. But I really like it, just the simplicity of it with the newspaper. As you can see, I featured the newspaper quite heavily here because it reminds me of fish somehow. How does that remind me so much of fish? But it does. Like when you get fish and chips wrapped in newspaper or something like that. So I did use the newspaper quite heavily. And then back here, I kind of have a little bit of an Asian influence. This is what's it called? The Go board. And I think that Go is a traditional Japanese game. Maybe it's Chinese, I'm not sure. Somebody please correct me. But we have a little area where people can play a little game over here. I might end up changing this area out a little bit and using a different kind of chair or even just cushions to sit on. That might be cute actually, just having cushions, but for now, I'm very happy with the way that this little area is. I feel like it's super cute, like maybe the people who are working with the fish then come back here and have a little chill and play a little game in between when they're serving customers. It does have a slightly Asian influence back here in this whole area, but I think that's because Asian countries tend to have the fish markets the way that we don't really have fish markets. But I did want to include one from the very start on my island, and I think it just turned out so cute, so I'm so happy with it. Thank you so much for being here today with me and watching this video. I'm planning on doing a lot more builds like this, and my island is very close to being done, so we're gonna see what we'll do, if we're going to restart entirely or we're gonna tear it down and flatten and then restart with a new theme that I'm very excited about. I'm actually not quite sure what my theme will be because I've been very inspired by different themes right now, but make sure you subscribe so that you can stay tuned for all of that. In the meantime, I will see you in the next video. Bye! Here's the thing, Scooter. Last night, I was just about to fall into a deep sleep, deep and dreamless slumber when it hit me. Your floors are all wrong. How does he know my floors are all wrong? He's never been in my house. That's creepy. I was up all night trying to pick out the perfect replacement. Did I succeed? Yes. Yes, I did. It's sleepy time now, Zell. Okay. I can't even read the rest of my mail. I gotta see what Zell thought was a good flooring for me. No. This is the flooring that we need, Cell. Thank you very much. Have you ever peeled some fruit and managed to keep the whole peel connected? Earlier, I did just that. I'm proud of you, Isabel. No. That does qualify as news. Good for you.